Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. My name is Brian if you happen to be new around here, but if you're a returning subscriber, welcome back, you sexy beast. And that's what you get for subscribing, by the way. Free compliments at the start of these videos. Now, today's video is going to be a little bit of a different, kind of more of a casual chat. I've got a couple of bullet points of things that I'd like to talk to you guys about today, and hopefully this video gives you something fun to listen to, or something fun to listen to on your commute or while you're at work. But regardless, if any of these points like strike you as interesting or any of these thoughts, sound off in the comments below. Let me know what questions or thoughts you have for me, and maybe we'll be able to continue some of these nice fun little chats in future videos. Most likely I'm just going to be fishing while doing this, gotta work on that old leaderboard. This isn't anything for me to unlock because the leaderboards themselves don't necessarily give me everything that I want, but you know, they're there, and that's something we might explore here also in this video itself. Now, at its core, I want to talk about, we have the upcoming new event that's set to launch on the 21st. I obviously butchered the name massively, but a couple pronunciations say Grassus. So we're going to maybe stick with that, but I'm very much looking forward to that event, and it does run into March, and I think that's where we'll actually start to see the new PTR rollout with the loadouts and all the things that we can start to expect and test for the March update, or, you know, in this case, the March PTR update, most likely April scheduled, you know, Easter release, the springtime update for 2023. That's what we're going to roll with here. Now, when it comes down to it, for me personally speaking, I think loadouts are going to be a big game changer for me. I think loadouts and how I like to play these games make it easier to save time. It actually going to hopefully make it more fun to be able to kind of put together various different builds for you guys. One of the things, the most annoying things that I run into on a daily basis is anytime I really have to overall change my gear, I want to go fishing. And so I tend to go and just spend sometimes usually a week doing nothing but fishing, because that ends up being way more relaxed, and you know, I can kind of log in, log out, just keep tossing out the line and catch whatever I can, as opposed to like working on various goals. Now, if I actually pull up my current setup under weapon mastery, I have finally clapped out all of my magical weapons, and the last two weapons that I have to work on are ranged, and in this case the musket and the bow. So that's something that I'm going to have to be working on here over the course of the next month. My overall goal is to have every weapon at level cap. This is not anything you need to do, but this is just something how I enjoy and play the game and find it relaxing to do so, especially because right now we don't have any new weapons on the roadmap, but they have already been hinting at several different kind of weapons to be introduced maybe at the end of this year, as a part of whatever their big fall time update is, whether that's an expansion or if it ends up just being, you know, another Brimstone Sands scale update to kind of wrap out and wind down the year. Now, recently I've been called casual in the comments, and I thought that was kind of an interesting take. And my response is, what is a casual? I wouldn't describe myself personally as a casual gamer. I would describe myself as a limited gamer, as somebody who's got a lot of different responsibilities, a lot of things, you know, a lot of irons in the fire, if you will. But I definitely would say, like, when it comes down to it, it just becomes a choice between my capacity to play versus my, like, interest and passion to play the game itself. And so that's where it's like, whenever somebody called me a casual, I was like, oh, that's an interesting take. I'd be kind of very curious as to your thoughts personally as to what makes a casual gamer versus somebody who's a hardcore, because I don't think it's so binary. I think it's actually more of, there's a spectrum, and people dip in and dip out of that spectrum as life, you know, persists. At some point, I think when my kids are off in, you know, college and whatnot, there's going to be much more time, hopefully, that I can kick back and really dive into more of the core content. Speaking of that, though, on the 25th of February, Community Game Day kicks off. We're going to be playing a lot of this game, so if you guys want to come to run some mutated dungeons, if we want to do any of the more hardcore content, jump on in, or if we want to just kind of, you know, I don't know, fish or something, we're going to make a fun day out of it, as I will be doing a once a month kind of big community game day. You can find all the information and more in the Discord, which is linked in the description, as well as Twitch, which is also linked in the description. Now, beyond the loadouts, because I think loadouts are going to be a big game changer for me personally, I hope, I mean, would I call loadouts content? Not technically. what loadouts for me would give me is the ability to do more content and be able to set up my builds for PvP and PvE. It all depends on how they execute it, and I really, really hope that they knock this one out of the park. Now, it could come in phases. It could be like we've seen with the, the group finder tool. They've got bigger plans for that to roll out. And I'm assuming we'll probably get some updates on that either hopefully this spring. I think that would be a nice little addition as they continue and prepare for some of the even future updates with cross-server stuff. So there's going to be, I think, some interesting developments along just 2023 regarding that. But when it comes down to it, I do not feel the spring release, though, like the loadouts and the quest revamp and also like the new, expedition. Like, I don't feel like this is going to be the make or break, piece of the game. I think this is just going to be something that is going to feel really good for the people who are either actively playing it or who have been on a nice little break to come in and be able to check out a little bit of content. I think the summer event, though, I think summer's update with the raid and so much more will actually act as a bigger, meatier approach to the future of this game. Namely because I think that if they do time whatever their fall announcement is around that same time, you'll end up seeing a lot of that hype, a lot of people pre-hyping or pre-generating a return to the game itself and being able to then take part in the summer events and so much more. So I don't feel like, I'm not looking towards the spring update as this massive, like, okay, they've fixed all the issues and now it's go time. You're going to see that general hype cycle flow into the spring update, into the summer update, but the bigger hype cycle, the bigger seasonal way that people play the game, which if you guys have never been here before and you don't know what I'm talking about, I think of MMORPGs in 3 seasons. The season of hype, the season of grind, which is when you're actively playing the game and doing the content that's available to you, and then the season of complain, where you're waiting for new news to be excited about, but you also don't know when that is, or you've also done the content, and this is usually more true to content creators than anybody else out there in the world, because that's just how it all works in my mind. When I study all of the stuff that I'm interested in, that's what I always end up kind of returning to. But anyway, I digress only slightly, because now I'm going to talk about the event that we're getting here next week and what I want to see in terms of PvP. Somebody in the comments the other day, and I apologize, this is more of kind of a casual chat where I'm not like hyper editing the video or anything, but somebody the other day said that they wish they actually had a kind of an event like we're getting with Gracias, but for PvP. And I was like, that's genius. That's freaking genius. That's absolutely would be something amazing to see. I would love to see something along those lines brought into the game itself, where you end up having kind of like a 3 or 4 week piece of content that's PvP focused. I do think in order for them to do something like that, there are things they have to do. There are things that they would have to do and change. For example, you'd want to see something along the lines of cross server play if you're going to be talking about OPR and with obviously the 3v3 arena. Now, if you're doing open world stuff, I think that would also be kind of smart once they've changed the territory stuff, where the undermining and the open world PvP is incentivized to happen in a specific zone or specific zones. I think that would be really kind of cool to see how that would take place and how that works out. And I think that is something that is scheduled for the spring update. So maybe we could see something along the lines, of going into the summer, having a, PvP style event. They could always do it without the crossover play, but crossover play means that you can actually get into the content much easier, as opposed to like worrying about what server that you are on and what's going on in that respect. Now, I think that's going to be something very interesting. I do love that idea, and I would like to continue to champion that idea as well, because even if you start to think about in relation to some of the games out there like Destiny has their Iron Banner PvP. Now, their PvP is more centric to kind of the shooter aspect of it, but there are PvP style events, and if you could get to the point where every couple of weeks or something like that, then there's some kind of week-long PvP event that could be kind of reused over and over again to kind of generate hype and to do just more things within the game itself. I think that could be something really exciting to see for the future of New World for sure. Now, The other thing I was thinking about is that I know one of the things that Scott has talked about, but we haven't really seen much information about recently, is the idea of practice wars and practice invasions. One of the things that does keep me from doing that is scheduling. Like, I don't know how you guys feel, but generally speaking, I try not to schedule my life around games. I think that's kind of the... You know, you ever remember that Frosted Flakes commercial, the kid in me, the adult in me? The adult in me is like, what? You want me to be there at what time? Like, you know, I got kids, man. Like, what are you thinking? Like, I'll be at soccer practice. I'm not going to be doing that war tonight. The other side of it is there's an intimidation factor because I haven't done the wars. I don't want to go in and screw up the opportunity, but I think obviously with changes, I just need to get over that personal fear because that's something I've always wanted to take part in. Same thing goes with the invasions. I just got to get over the fear and actually just register to do so. But the challenge there is like, I don't know until I'm actively playing if I'm going to be on. And that's just the nature of my world and my limited gamer, perspective. But there might also be some opportunities here on the channel. And I would say personal thank you guys to you because you've given me that opportunity by hitting that subscribe button. So I think we've at least gotten a certain size that, things might open up. And as soon as I can share more on that, if it gets confirmed, I will let you guys know, and I think it'll be pretty exciting, and hopefully you guys look forward to it. No, it's not a sponsorship. I get those all the time, and I've continued to say no, but I do have some affiliate deals. If you guys want to support the channel, you can always look in the description of these videos and take part in any of the affiliate deals that are active. Or I also have added in membership here on the channel itself. If you guys feel like you want to support the content and these rambling-esque videos, that would be a great way to support the channel and support the content that I'm trying to bring out to you guys here. I'm sure this will be a wonderful and well-received video. I'm sure no one will complain about the dude just talked for like 12 minutes. And yes, yes, I did. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for your time today. Those are the thoughts that I just had. I'm very excited. I'm just setting my expectations for the first major update in 2023, and I think it's going to be fun. I'm really banking a lot on the loadouts. If they knock that system out of the park, that's just going to make it so much easier for me to start doing even more content within the game. And that's just because I lazy. I mean, that it's annoying, and it ends up being where it's like I'd rather just kind of sit and fish, and that's what I end up doing a lot of my time with the game. So I'm going to keep rocking and rolling it, and hopefully you guys come hang out on the 25th. I think that's going to be fun. I'd love to get into some mutated dungeon runs and see if we can get some more experience in that. Maybe, who knows, we'll do some portals. We'll find ways to put ourselves somewhere on some leaderboard somehow. Not necessarily am I worried about being number one, but it's always kind of fun to see your name up there and see where you rank overall. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for your time. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Hopefully I will see you next time. But until then, take care.